The Ltgd LTGJ Q Plus is wrapping up at the time of recording, and I narrowly made that window. So the theme was announced, and you had to make a game using
Ltgd.
I thought this was such a cool and open idea for a game jam. My initial idea was something along the lines of Luke the Good Detective, where you would go around solving crimes. Then I realized how complicated of a game that would be to make, and thought about, look, there goes Dave. It would have been like a 2D Pokemon Snap, but instead of Pokemon, you had to get pictures of Dave Franco. But the world's just not ready for that yet. Then I was scrolling through some of my old pixel art and found this gem, and it made me think the game should be something about a dream. I could have all sorts of fun monsters and cute yet surreal imagery. I'd recently watched a video by Game Design with Riley about random level generation, and I thought this would be the perfect place to use it. With all that, I got to work. I found this color palette on low spec and thought it looked pretty fun. Plus, I've been using the same palette for the past 5 games. After getting the palette set up, I began work on our main character, Greg. I got a pretty nice silhouette going and then just kind of started building it out from there. Looking rather sharp. I opted for a brighter color shirt and then just kind of went with some darker outlines. One thing pretty cool about this palette that I kind of got frustrated about at first was that it doesn't have any black. I ended up really liking it though. A lot more than just a standard black outline. And there he is. Look at our handsome little guy. And I didn't really record much while building this out because I was still watching that tutorial. But yeah, I made a little ground, and then these trees make a wall. So all these tiles have trees set up on them in a certain pattern. And when you play the game, it'll randomly generate a level based on that pattern. I went back into Greg's little sprite sheet and gave him a mouth. Just make him a little smiley face. Mind you, at this point, I still thought the game was going to be all fun and whimsical. Here's some of the random level generation in action. It's really cool, actually. I didn't have any controls or anything at this point, so we just get to stare at the screen. Then I gave Greg the old move to behavior, and now he can move around. And he seems a lot happier that way. Now, while yes, Greg is my perfect little guy, but he's a bit too tall. He can't really fit in between a lot of the trees. And so I kind of squanch him down a bit. Now look at him. He's having the time of his life over there. Then I did something that would dramatically change the course of this game forever. I gave the game dramatic lighting. While it does look super cool, I think, definitely no longer fits the whimsical thing. And also I made these horrifying eye sockets. I'd even gone into GarageBand and made this fun little track, and I was certain I was going to have to scrap it because it was perfect for a whimsical dream game, but fortunately I did end up using it for the title screen, so that's cool. I did give him some form of walking animation now, which is pretty fun. Definitely is less creepy than him just staring at you and gliding around the map, but I do like that his idol is just dead on staring at you with his no eyes. Then I began working on some of the core gameplay loop. So he has no eyes, no teeth, and no hair. And the idea is he has this reoccurring dream where his eyes, teeth, and hair all fall out. And you have to run across the map and get him in order to give him a good night's rest. Because he's earned it. Greg's worked hard. This is a pretty common problem that I do address later by just giving the game a refresh button. But yeah, in the meantime, I had to get out. If you can get stuck behind a wall of trees. But yeah, so he goes, boom, got his hair. And the way I did that, it's just a separate item with 2 animations that pins to him and kind of follows his animations. Pretty neat. Then I just kind of didn't do anything for a while. I got pretty busy with work. This jam lasts a while, so I just kept feeling like I had plenty of time. And then I started binge watching Shark Tank.
I'm gonna go back in, and for that reason I'm out.
Then in the middle of this jam, I entered another jam. I spent a couple days on that. And the next thing I knew, I had 14 hours left. And I figured at this point I better ought to either crack down and start really making this game or just watch 14 more hours of Shark Tank. So I began work on the enemies. I figured you would have an enemy that corresponds with each part of your body that you need to get back, I guess. So I made an eye monster, since this whole game kind of came from that sprite I made forever ago. And I wanted to like bounce around and stuff, but unfortunately I just didn't have time to add in any of that. I had to watch some more Shark Tank. Seriously, it's like the most mind-numbingly good show I've ever seen. But yeah, this was pretty cool actually. I hadn't made an eye since that other one, like aside from ones that are inside your head, but I hadn't made like a weird eye monster in like at least a year. And so I had a lot of fun making this little guy. And I think he turns out looking pretty neat, personally. I'm also trying to get better at shading. I normally just go with like one dark part and one light part. But I decided to like kind of play with where the light might actually be hitting this. And so here's our little finished bud. So I made the other monsters and put them in the game. And there's some eyes there. But yeah, so here's a hair monster. It's not very good. I could have done way better on that, but you know, just a little bale of hair. And there's a tooth monster. Scary. And there's our little eye friend. I didn't really feel like making like a bunch of text fonts, so I went into Adobe Express and just made these little buttons and the title for the game. And in GarageBand I made just like a couple songs and a ton of weird audio clips to be used throughout the game. Here's the main menu. I thought that was pretty cool. I had a lot of fun with that. I made this re-sleep button. It restarts your dream. Patent pending. Thinking about taking it on to Shark Tank.
I'm gonna go back in. And for that reason, I'm out.
It's pretty necessary to the game though, because like you can get stuck on a tree at the beginning or blocked in. I think I was blocked in. Yeah, I'm blocked in on this one. So yeah, it's a pretty useful tool to be able to just hit that. It happens a lot. I'll show you like some of the music and the sound effects here. Well, you would have seen the good ending, but I accidentally hit the re-sleep button. Well, if y'all have had a good time, don't let it stop here. You should go check out one of these other videos. Anyway, bye.